This is Bruce with Iron Furnace Trout Unlimited with a short video regarding downloading data from a Hobo logger. Once your logger is connected to the computer and the download device, we boot up our software and we can retrieve the data from the instrument. First thing we do is go to the device. We can get down and look at its status. Tells us that this is our logger from the Salmon Creek Trib 55118. Got a good battery still on this one. We've got about 61% of memory used. It's been deployed several times. The logger is stopped, and we can see that we've got conductivity low range is active, as well as temperature. We can go back up to the device and tell it we want to read it out. This is how we manage to get the data off it. At this point, the software is downloading the data from the logger onto into the software that Hobo supplies, which you have on your computer, which contains the data. Once that data is completed, we can take our Hobo file and we can save it. I'll just throw it on the desktop here to make that quick. The next thing we need to do is to process this data. So what we want to process is the low range and the temperature, because we're getting our conductivity in microsiemens per centimeter in its uncompensated form. This data, to be useful as specific conductivity, has to be compensated to 25 degrees C. So we want to make sure we have these two measurements selected. We can come down here and deselect all of these because they just add some clutter into the spreadsheet that you produce. We're going to come in here in the Conductivity Assistant. We're going to process this data. It's going to ask us how we want to process it. We're going to process the conductivity low range right here. We're going to select nonlinear, natural water compensation, and we're going to use the factory calibration only settings. Once we have that selected, and conductance down here for specific conductance, that's our series name, we will create the new series. Once we've got those selections, we tell it to plot. It produces a plot for us. You can see we have low range, temperature, and specific conductance. These are the three data types we need. They're also shown up here in the spreadsheet form. Again, here's the low range, here's the temperature that reading was recorded at, and here's the actual specific conductance when modified to reflect the actual conductivity at 25 degrees C. We want the tabular data. So to get the data from the data logger spreadsheet into our own spreadsheet, we go back to File, we export table data. We want to export low range, temperature, and specific conductance. We export this data. Again, we're going to put this in a file that we name. This file is going to be called Salmon Creek Trib 55118. We might want to put a date in here, 10.14.13. That's a CSV file, a comma separated file. Then we want to put it in our logger data folder that you create, and you can create this anywhere or however you want to organize your data. We can then save that data. Once we have that data saved, we can go back to the device and we can go get it ready for the next time we want to relaunch it. So we can go to Launch. Again, we go back through the same process that we talked about before, making sure if we're going to set it in the same place, we leave the name the same. Conductivity is low range. Temperature is already selected. We're in SI units, which is metric. We already have the logging interval we want. We can set it up to start on whatever date we want. Let's go do this one for November 1st at 1 p.m. That's a delayed start. We can hit delayed start, and what it'll do is it'll now set itself up for a delayed start, and this logger is ready to go. We look at the status. It's on a delayed start for November 1st, 2013. We've got our location information. We've got our battery state is good. None of the memory is used. That we are going to be recording conductivity low range and temperature in degrees C. This logger is ready to go into the housing and go to the stream.